Before we go any further, I think you've been extremely unfair to the Green Party.
I blame you. You've sent so many milk bottle tops that you've actually caused the warming.
The Green Party is basically, they call them a watermelon. Green on the outside, red on the inside, because they're communists. So lots of Islamists have joined the Green Party, who I can't believe actually voted for the Green Party because they think they were just pink and fluffy.
It's none other than Nick Buckley, MBE. The fact he's got an MBE means that he's senior in the political, or at least the cultural food chain than I am. Look how smart you are, Nick Buckley, MBE. That smile tells it all. You look down on me, it's a pleb.
Before we go any further, I think you've been extremely unfair to the Green Party for the 70s. So I was a kid in the 70s and we had all the hoopla about a mini ice age coming. Blue Peter took that on board and I collected milk bottle tops and I sent them to Blue Peter to help fight the mini ice age. And we must have sent that many milk bottle tops that we stopped the mini ice age. So I've got a lot of respect for the Green Party in the 70s for making me send Blue Peter milk bottle tops because we saved the planet in the 70s. So well done, Green Party.
That's the problem, Nick. You've just proved that's what they do. That's what they do. Because there isn't going to be global meltdown, they'll say, we saved it. And you're not helping. You're sarcastic.
I think I was being sarcastic. Of course I was.
Yeah, but your sarcasm will be clipped by somebody say, you see, Nick Buckley, MBE, a member of the British Empire, he disagrees with them, but he, with Blue Peter, stopped them in the ice age. In fact, Nick, I blame you. You sent so many milk bottle tops that you've actually caused the warming. You overcompensated.
Absolutely. So again, humans are destroying the environment by milk bottle tops now. So let's get that on the front page of the Times magazine.
Tricky.
You're perfectly correct. With the Green, I can split the Green Party into three sections: the environmental part of it, the communist part of it, and the Islam part of it. Let's look at the environmental part first of all. All my life, well, for hundreds of years, thousands of years, but all my life, there's always been warnings about we're damaging the climate, ranging from acid rain to climate warming to climate changing to climate emergency. And there's always something new coming along. And all the predictions have been proven wrong. I remember being told the Mauritius Islands or something like that are all going to be underwater. Those islands are actually getting bigger. We were told the ice caps.
Tuvalu. That's the Tuvalu archipelago. As luck would have it, I happen to have studied them. 101 islands, bits of land you could call islands there. 74 of them are getting bigger.
Yeah, absolutely.
Since 1973, they've gained 2.9% surface area, even though their foreign minister said, we are sinking. And then stuck his hand out for the handout.
No, absolutely. So a lot of this is to do with money, but all these predictions have always been proven wrong. There was a sign somewhere, I think it was Switzerland, saying the glacier you can see now will be gone in the year 2022. And they went back to the same place in 2022, and the glacier is still there, bigger than ever. Polar bears are dying. Well, we've got more polar bears now than we've ever had. All these things have always been proven.
Since 1962. Do you know what was destroying the polar bear population?
Hunting.
Yeah,
hunting.
That was it.
Yeah. So that moves us nicely onto the communist part of it. The Green Party is basically, they call them a watermelon. Green on the outside, red on the inside, because they're communists. They use the environmental agenda to push global communism. We've created this massive problem that's going to destroy the planet. The answer is global answers, which just happens to be communism, which happens to be the state needs to control everything. We need to tell you what you can do and what you can't do. They're all basically communists. Yeah. Now, they've actually made a huge mistake by embracing the Islamists, because for some reason the Green Party are big on free Palestine, because it's perceived that Israel supported by the capitalist movement, America and stuff like that. So the Jews and Israel are the enemy. So they're looking at that going, we need to support free Palestine. So lots of Islamists have joined the Green Party. The new deputy leader of the Green Party voted in today is an Islamist. So we've got communists, far left idiots, and Islamists trying to make a bed together. And we saw this in 1979 Iran. And what happened was they had the revolution, they got rid of the people who wanted to get rid of, the Shah, and suddenly the Islamists pulled guns out and shot all the communists and all the pink and fluffy progressives in the head and turned it into an Islamic republic. The Greens are going to have a civil war because of the Islamists. Because the Green Party believes in homosexuality, the gender ideology nutcases. Those two things can't get along for long.
That's a really interesting point. You're right. I noticed the deputy chair, a man I haven't heard of before, was elected. Clearly, I'm pretty sure, a practicing Muslim. And yet the new leader of the Green Party is homosexual. And it just confuses me, because there's been a whole lot of tension between those people in politics from the Muslim faith, and actually to some extent from the Christian faith as well, it has to be said, but the Muslim faith for sure. And this agenda, this woke agenda, which seems to actively promote non-straight people. Remember that in the Labour Party, 1 in 8 of their MPs claims to be gay or equivalent. I hadn't considered that. How do they coexist? What does the deputy leader say about it? I haven't heard him say anything yet.
I think the Islamists in the party know what they're doing. They are a fifth column. They're trying to use the establishment of the Green Party so it can become an Islamist party. Now, they're keeping their mouths shut at the moment over many issues they don't like. But in their little circles, they're saying to each other, we'll put up with the homos. We'll put up with the homos until we win, and then we're going to shoot them in the head or throw them off the nearest building. But at the moment, we're going to
I'm not sure they're going to say that literally, are they?
Almost word for word. They'll use slightly different words, but that's exactly what they'll be saying. We're using this party until we can get rid of the gays. Up to that point, well, the gays are useful idiots for our movement.
Well, yeah, we're not recommending any kind of purge in the Green Party or anywhere else. So I have to assume that you're speaking metaphorically. I understand your concern, but I have to assume.
No, I'm speaking on behalf of the Islamists. This is what the Islamists are saying to themselves.
Yeah, but there might be, but they're not. We're not seeing a wholesale slaughter of gay people and people who don't support their way of life here in Britain, are we? That happens from time to time, but
not until
by and large, Muslim
over.
People aren't that violent, in my experience.
Oh no! But these are Islamists. This is what they intend to do if they ever take over the country. So these are radicals. These are people who want Sharia law. We know what Sharia law says about homosexuality. We see it in certain countries where homosexuals are thrown off roofs. We know what Islamist fundamentalists want, and this is what they want. But they're keeping their mouths shut at the moment, and in the hope they're going to take over the Green Party.
That's quite a dark prediction. I hadn't anticipated you saying that. I haven't really got a view on it because I haven't really considered whether that dark scenario is for real. But there isn't any doubt. There's no doubt at all in my mind that the Green Party is trying to look super pro migration. In fact, this new man was going on about how he welcomed migration. He went as far as suggesting he could take on Nigel Farage. It's ridiculous. Anybody who votes for this Green Party is extremely unlikely to have ever voted for Nigel Farage.
No, absolutely. But I think the Green Party has got a fundamental flaw. And it's trying to hold those two parts of the party together, which is slightly possible in a different environment. But what's happened now is we've got Jeremy Corbyn's party. Jeremy Corbyn, his party starting now. That's going to attract the Islamist vote and the far left vote. We've also got independent MPs now coming from the Islamist side as well. So the Green Party have been courting this vote, but I don't think they're going to retain it. I think in the next general election, I think they're going to, that's why they had a big bump in the polls and won 4 seats. It was Muslims voting for the Green Party because they had no one else to vote for. There's different options they can vote for now, and I think they'll probably do it.
Let's look at a little bit more coverage about this Zach Polansky person. Some of the coverage that happened on the day that he was elected. If we can play the clip, please.
Party has a new leader. Zach Polansky was elected by members of the Green Party of England and Wales this morning with a huge share of the vote. The actor turned hypnotherapist turned politician says he wants to deliver environmental, social, racial and economic justice. So is this a sign the Green Party is turning red? He warned Labour, "We are here to replace you," in his victory speech. Let's get more details from our political reporter Jasmine Cameron-Shaleshi, who was at that announcement. Jasmine, what does his appointment mean for the party's direction and the political landscape?
Well, as you say, it was a pretty overwhelming result for Zach Polansky, who won more than 20,000 votes. Now, in quite a punchy acceptance speech, he said the Greens had a moral responsibility to counter some of the rhetoric by Nigel Farage and put forward bold policies, for example, the nationalisation of water companies. And off the back of what had been a tense leadership campaign, he offered an olive branch to his colleagues. He said that he was only able to run on what he described as a pretty radical platform because of the legacy and leadership of Adrian Ramsey, and he also praised Ellie Chowns, arguing that she had held the Foreign Secretary to account over the Israel-Gaza conflict.
And this is the Green Party's time. People in this country are exhausted. They are tired. They are sick of working long hours and never feeling secure. They see water companies pumping sewage into our waters and charging us extra for the privilege. And they see how broken the old two-party system is. And we know this political space has been ripe for charlatans like Nigel Farage and reform. Millionaires who are pretending to serve working class communities, but are actually...
I mean, this is the kind of self-satisfied left-wing, in my opinion, bile that you can expect from communists, as like you just described there, Nick. They make Rachel Reeves's money grab off the rich seem positively tame.
Oh, absolutely. And what he said then is part of the reason why people are struggling in this country, why people are unhappy, why we've got no money. He's answering the questions himself. It's because of green policies. It's because other governments have stolen the policies from the Green Party over decades and decades. Now, the Green Party are always saying, we've never won, we get no recognition. The Green Party have had loads of recognition because all the mainstream parties for all my life have stolen their policies. Every political party is a Green Party to a certain extent, even Reform. So they have been successful as a lobby group, a bit like UKIP, very successful lobbying for what they want. But he's coming out now and admitting that the communists, they want equity, they want racial justice, economic justice. What does economic justice mean? It means taking money off me and you and giving it to other people. That's communism. He's right about the water. I mean, some of our nationalisation has been a disaster, not because the idea was wrong, but because the implementation of it was wrong. Our water companies are pumping sewer, whatever that word is, back into streams, back into rivers, and we're having to pay to clean it up. So he's right on 1 or 2 points, but he's singing to the converted there, a far left audience, and he's going to compete like he'd always have done with Labour, with the Lib Dems, with Jeremy Corbyn. And this splitting of the left is very beneficial for everybody, just like the right's been split with Reform and the Tories.
This is the point. My feeling is it's a bit worse than that. The Greens I meet tend to be in 2 camps. Extremely bitter anarcho-communists who hate wealth, hate them, eat the rich, just stop oil, people like that. And then there's the upper middle class lovies who live in posh parts of London who take their kids to Costa Rica for the holidays, but say, oh, and we've got an electric car. So we're playing our part, regardless of the fact that an electric vehicle actually takes 68,000 miles on average to pay back the extra CO2 generated when it's being made. So you got these two groups. And I felt that the people in that room, I don't know them individually, but all the speakers look like this, are rich enough to be able to afford their balmy policies.
I mean, that's exactly what the Green Party is. The Green Party is the utmost example of virtue signalling. I vote green because I'm pink and fluffy. I vote green. Aren't I an amazing person, Lember? I vote green. I don't mind my bills going up a little bit because I'm saving the world. Yeah, aren't I amazing?
Yeah, this is the problem. And then you discover that lots of them have more than 2 children. Anyone who has more than 2 children is increasing the global population. And the biggest thing you can do to increase carbon dioxide emissions is make a baby. It's incredible. Oh, no, but that's my right. So it's your right to have 4 children, but it's not my right to drive a 22-year-old diesel car. Do the sums. My 22-year-old diesel car doesn't produce a fraction of the emissions per year of your child. But that doesn't matter because that's a sacred thing. And so on. I have to say, even talking with you makes me even more angry because they've got this supercilious self-satisfaction. Let me actually play to you the Green Party election broadcast, or at least a part of it.
I thought they'd bring a bit of positivity after years of the Conservatives' cruel and short-sighted cuts to the public services that we all rely on every day. But day by day, it's looking less and less likely that this government is going to deliver that change that we were hoping for.
Our NHS is broken and our schools are crumbling. Hard-working staff are severely stretched and facing yet further government cuts. And Labour's pushing more people into poverty, whether that's by scrapping the winter fuel allowance or removing benefits from disabled people. Our country is being failed by the old, tired parties. And there's an even bigger threat, Reform, a party designed to benefit the very richest, who will threaten our NHS and who have no track record of delivering for people.
No track record of delivering for people. The Greens. The Greens are saying that. Remind me, when's the last time the Greens were in government in this country?
They would
utter double standards.
If you ask, they would point to Brighton Council. That's what they're going to point to.
Yeah, but Reform UK now has a bunch of councils, and so by their own very short-sighted party political broadcast, doubtless in the run-up to the local elections, they've now left themselves open by saying that because the Reform says, well, okay, we've done that now, so you can stop complaining about that. The other idea that they can attack Reform UK and anyone considering Green Party would be coming from Reform, that's just ridiculous.
It wouldn't surprise me if, there's a few voters out there who will be split between Greens and Reform. Not
really? Why?
Yeah, I meet people like that all the time. It's not because it's a policy matter. It's because many people who have not educated themselves on real politics in the UK see the Green Party as a safe place to register their protest vote.
Okay,
I know lots of people, I'm just going to vote Greens because they don't really, they stand for pink and fluffy, and that's okay because I don't know who else to vote for. So they have that going for them. But when they criticize Reform by saying they've got no track record in government, I go, God, that's a plus. That's actually a Reform should be using that. That's actually a plus. We've got no track record in government. Therefore, we're going to do it a new way, not the old way. That's a plus.
You and I tend to agree that the Greens are just weirdly off course. I know you understand the point you're making about protest vote, but I still don't see it. I don't see people who like Nigel Farage being likely to vote for the Green Party because they're diametrically opposed. Nigel Farage wants to scrap net zero. Interestingly, the Tories want to as well now, which basically means it's a problem for Labour because then Labour and the Greens, I mean, the Lib Dems are there as well somewhere, but they're just also rans, I'm sorry to say. But I mean, the Greens are even bigger also rans, but clearly trying to occupy the same space as Labour and Corbyn. they're basically saying, oh, no, but we're the environmentalists. I don't see there being a right across from anti-green nonsense in Reform to pro-green nonsense in the Greens.
No, but I still see some people who quite like Reform, but for some reason, maybe I don't like Farage, or let's say Farage start imploding a little bit. The Green Party have always been the go-to vote for people who don't understand politics to register their disapproval with everybody else. It may not happen as much this time, but I've met people who I can't believe actually voted for the Green Party because they think they were just pink and fluffy. But I think the Green Party, I think this new leader, Zach, I think he's going to go for it. I think he's seen the weakness in Labour. He's seen the splitting of all the political parties. And I don't think he thinks he's going to win the election, but I think he's looking at the environment going, we could do really well at the next election here. You know, we've already got 4 seats. We could be looking at, I think they came second in the last general election. In 39 seats, they came second. So they'll be looking at them going, we could win maybe half of them. We're on 24, 25 seats. And if there's a hung parliament, who wants 25 seats, and we'll get what we demand if there's a hung parliament.
If there's a hung... Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, it's all to play for.
If there's a hung parliament, then let's think about what happened in Germany where the Greens were in power. This woman, Baerbock, was there. And in my view, it says if the Greens in Germany move towards the centre, they can become a real force again. 4 years ago, the party was the most popular in the country. But old rifts have fractured it. Now the time is right for reset. That's, by the way, from The Guardian, a paper I haven't bought a copy of in 35 years, I think. But the thing is, this woman, Baerbock, self-satisfied as she is, she has been in wrecking the German economy. So when the Greens in Britain say, oh, we've got the experience, Reform hasn't, we only have to look at what happened in Germany to see what happens when the Greens get power. They wreck the economy. They wreck the energy system. They wreck so much. I don't know what their policy was in terms of migration, but I bet you they were all dead keen on the idea of massive immigration. So when the Germans made the mistake of giving the Greens power, they soon regretted it. You know, they actually bulldozed one of the wind turbine farms so that they could reopen the coal mine. It's that bad.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I think times have moved on. I can see what the Greens are doing, but times have moved on. The next election is going to be fought over one topic, and that's going to be migration. Second might be energy, in which case that'll damage the Greens because everybody's sick of paying what we're paying for energy. Gas, electric, we should be drilling more. We should be opening coal mines. We should be fracking. So the priorities of people at the moment, the Greens do not deliver on any of them. They only deliver policies for the far left. For the far left are now the new Islamists because they're anti-Israel, they're pro-free Palestine, but there's not enough votes in the country for that. So I still think they're on the hiding for nothing. I don't think the marriage between them and Islamists will last. And I just think this new guy, Zach, is having a go because all these communists always believe that they're popular. All communists think we all want communism if we could just understand it a bit better.
If we can cast our thoughts towards one person, a man mountain of political insight and scientific genius who is trying to save our country even as we speak. Any guesses who I'm thinking about?
Farage?
Ed Miliband. The energy minister. The man who thinks we should bury carbon dioxide, even though it's the gas of life, the food for plants. And who did this? What's this?
Friend is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. So here I am on the latest stage of my GB Energy Tour, and I'm near Mansfield at the Lyndhurst Wind Farm. Now, these turbines behind me provide power for 5,000 homes. They were built in 2010. But here's the bad news. Since 2015 in England, only 3 of these type of wind farms have been built and are up and running. Now, that effective ban introduced by the government has raised people's bills for every family in Britain by £160. And the worst news is this: the new Energy Secretary, Grant Shapps, he says these are an eyesore. Come on, Grant. What are you thinking of? The answer is blowing in the wind.
Talk about embarrassing.
Only
Talk
certain
about embarrassing.
Yeah, only certain politicians can get away with stuff like that, and 95% of politicians can never get away with it. He can't even eat a bacon sandwich without being mocked. He thinks he's going to play a ukulele and sing and come across as a serious politician. He has no concept of how he's perceived around the country.
It's just excruciating. And also, he told something which wasn't true. He said that energy prices would come down if you go for wind. It's rubbish. Wind is the most expensive power pretty much you can get. And what happens when the wind doesn't blow? And it's nighttime, so you haven't got solar panels. This is the problem. It's all part of the great big collective lie. So you've got the Greens spouting their nonsense, and that man is on the cabinet. He's on the cabinet doing rubbish like that.
And one of the favourites to be prime minister.
Is he?
Oh,
again?
Yeah, I mean, if Starmer falls, it looks like it's going to be a 2-horse race between him and Rayner. I know.
That's the kind of parody satire that we put onto our arts and culture channel here on Unprecedented. But we might not do it because it's too far-fetched. Angela's going to have a problem because she's going to have to not just commute 265 miles every day from her main home to her constituency office, but she's also going to have to take on a whole kind of strange thing going on there. Once again, I don't really care where she lives and I don't have an issue with that. It's only if she seems to be contradicting Labour policy. That's an whole different story for another day. Maybe we'll do that in a forthcoming show. Let's finish with this then. Your view then, Green Party, what's going to happen to them in the next 4 years?
4 years, I think they'll go back to irrelevance. I think they're at a high point at the moment because of a perfect storm at the last general election. They won't win 4 seats again in the next election. I think their support will be drained away by Jeremy Corbyn, by the independent Islamists. There might be a new Islamist party being set up. They tried that already, but it failed to get registered because they won't be able to hold the Islamist vote alongside their woke, LGBT-friendly, progressive policies. It's a marriage that will end in divorce, and it'll end in divorce quicker if there's another party tempting those people away, and there's going to be. And I think it's going to be Jeremy Corbyn.
Really appreciate your time as always, Nick. We don't always agree, but I think I do have a slightly different view about the transfer of votes from Reform to Greens. But there we are. Go. You can have your say as well. We thank Nick Buckley for being with us. And before we go, can we just get Nick back for a moment? Tell us about your book again. I always want you to be able to promote it.
My latest book is called Anglophobia, A Price Worth Paying to Be English. And it explores why we have English people who hate themselves, hate the country, hate the nation. Also explains why we have foreigners and children of foreigners living in this country who seem to hate the country. And it's a mixture of jealousy and envy and poor mental health. And if we can address those issues, we're going to have a better country going forward.
Thanks, Nick. A positive note to finish on. Do get that book. It's really, really great.